it's funny because, we do a lot of college talks at camps and talk to a lot of student athletes in groups and stuff. And, there's good and bad teams at every level, at every division. There's a lot of D1s out there that, we could beat. There's also a lot of NAIA schools that could beat us. And that's just the reality of it. But with D1, they're flashy, they're big, they can spend all this money to get their name out there, to, be nationally relevant. They got TV deals, a lot of them with football. Football is a huge marketing tool for a lot of those universities. But what a lot of kids don't realize is that there's maybe 10% of Division I schools that will win a national title. With Division II, NAIA, Division III, junior college, it could happen to anybody. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is that you can go play Division I and never see an NCAA tournament. Because with Division I, as far as, making the tournament, a lot of it has to do with winning a conference tournament at large bids. With Division II, it's totally different. It's all about regional rankings, where you finish in your region, and then the conference tournament. So, things are run differently, but with Division I, Division II, we just don't get a whole lot of TV time, I guess is the best way to put it, to really put our name out there nationally.
Yeah, but you make a very good point in terms of the potential access to championship tournaments and championship play, because I think, without being disrespectful, I think NAIA and D2 are pretty close. I mean, obviously there's going to be some teams and programs that are much better run or better funded, but in terms of, like you said, NAIA operates off power rankings, and which is different. So it's not just a matter of winning your league to move on. But that's a very good point for kids that want to experience a championship type or potential championship experience, that there is more opportunity, I think, or more access for opportunity at the NAIA and D2 levels. And I never thought about how you said, but, you might compete at D1, and I'm thinking of the West Coast, like University of San Diego or some of these decent D1 programs, but when you get deeper into the tournaments, there's the vast difference between the upper echelon D1 and the mid-level D1 is exposed, right? I mean,
yep.
It's not like March Madness where you see many Cinderella stories.
Right. It's very hard for Cinderella stories in the tournament at the Division I level.
Yeah. Why do you think it's so accessible at the D2 and NAIA levels?
Yeah, that's a good question. Things are just run differently. With Division II, like I said, everything's run on regional rankings, and then you turn around and you play your regional opponents. So you kind of know who you're going up against from the get-go. And then, you continue to play. And even once you get to, the Sweet 16, Elite 8, you're still playing teams that you've heard about, you've watched, all this, that, and the other. And with Division II, we're all, at least the upper echelon of Division II, they all have, the same kind of caliber players, which is, D1 players that decided to go to D2. And, it's just, we can't get those kids like a Mallory Pugh or something like that, obviously. But with Division I, there's a huge divide between a Mallory Pugh and then, the next tier down kind of thing. So I think accessible-wise, I think it's not easier necessarily for Division II to win a national championship, but there's a much better chance as far as, a team maybe that a one-off chance that they make it to the national tournament can go deep in the national tournament.